taken the things and ideas that I had when I was a guitar player and just gone someplace completely, you know, way over my expectation. I always think to myself, did Leo Fender ever really think that Jimi Hendrix was going to do what he did to a guitar?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, you guys have been great. I mean, you know, all those phone calls where, you know, the guitar player calls up, I'm sure you've logged millions of them, and they say, well, it's got to scream more. I want it to thump, but I don't want any of that humping sound.
Well, that's engineering speak.
Yeah. And somehow you turn it into, you know, science and a pickup. And, you know, all I know is that when you're on stage, you're in front of thousands of people, and, you know, you're trying to play some beautiful emotive melody. If the pickups aren't doing their job, it stops you in your tracks. And so we depend on that so much. Just how it's picking up that magnetic field, you know?
Well, again, I think that the entire package, you know, the guitar, you know, what you're doing, and of course, you know.
It's all in the equipment, Larry. No, I mean, I can't imagine a more comfortable guitar and greater sounding pickups. And, you know, everything in the line now is so much, you know, has a signature of what I've learned being a solo artist for all these years, and that's an amazingly comfortable place to be in when I plug in. Like here at the photo session, we can just plug in really fast. You can give me a guitar I've never touched before, and off we go. And you're telling me, look up, where are you? Come back to earth, you know. But you know, once it gets in my hand, I just go off, you know. So.
Well, you know, again, watching you go off, I think that as a musician, you know, I was always very conscious about having my sound like someone else's. And one of the things that I really admire watching you play is you really do go off.
I do.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You go right to the edge.
I just never got there. You know.
I learned a long time ago that playing it safe was not one of my best qualities, let's put it that way, you know. And although when you go to the edge of your technical ability and you don't know what you're playing, you're truly improvising, there's going to be some crash and burns, but there's going to be the best final result. It's going to be evocative, and that's how you get a personal sound. You can't really take credit for it, you know what I mean, for molding it or anything. That's just out of your control. But in a way, you can take credit for the bravery of just sticking your neck out there and playing right on the edge of your ability. And I think, you know, that's what Hendrix did. You know, he really did. He was the greatest electric guitar player, but yet he made it sound like he was playing the guitar for the very first time every time he picked up the guitar.
Yeah,
how did he do that? It's amazing.
Well, yeah.
So, but anyway, that's a good reason I think we're, you know, after you get your gear together, you know, you still have to push yourself to that edge, but you have to have the gear that lets you do it.
You just had a 20th anniversary with Ibanez.
Yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. And we were talking before about the guitars, and I was saying how it's sort of like the last 3 or 4 years has been the golden age of the JS guitars. You know, we make, even up to this point, making the smallest adjustments to perfect the radius of the neck, the shape of the neck, the quality of the wood that's gone into the body. You know, you and Steve and myself working on those pickups, making minute changes, coming up with new models to put into like the 1200. And that means all the difference to me, and it just makes that guitar so fine-tuned. It's just great, and it's great now. I can go anywhere in the world and pick one of these guitars off the shelf and start wailing. I mean, just like today, right?
I was quite impressed. Yeah, we took the guitar that's being given away, and you played it, and I was like, well, don't we need to do something? And it was like, done, played it.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
It is. It's great.
guitar towards Thomas a bit, yeah. A little bit too much. A little bit back, 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 good, yeah. Same feel, same feel. Play that same lick again. Yeah.
Back in the top of the point thing, Larry.
Sure.
Down a little bit, shoes pointed to the left.
Okay.
Head up.
Cool.
Looking off to the left.
Larry, can I tell you something about this guitar?
Okay.
So well, going back 20 years, we're working on this guitar. You know, the JS guitar actually got its start in two different places. There was the 540 radius that I had a real positive response to when the guy sent one out to me. And then later on, it was actually, you know, sitting down with Bill Rhyme and a clay model and actually carving and saying, you know, I want to put this a little bit further over here. I want a bigger cutout here. We want a little bit more contours, you know. And then we talked about every little thing. The compound radius was very personal, and I knew that it was going to be a big expense for them to do it, but it's key for, in my mind, to making the neck feel and respond like a vintage guitar, but not stop you from doing any kind of crazy modern stuff. So it's not a, you know, straight across flat neck, you know, like a lot of the modern guitars that they started making in the 80s, and they still do. But I wanted this vintage feel, so it should feel like a 50 Strat.
Do you know what the radius on that neck is?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't talk. All I talk about is feels like this here, feels like that there, feels like that. You know.
Because I think they did a compound radius on that guitar. I think it starts at one point and then flattens out as you go
it definitely
up.
does. And that neck took a couple of years to get right. And I think they kept, each time that I would have the guitar for a while and Gary Brower would do work on it, and it would go back to the LA custom shop and they'd do work on it, it kept getting more refined, and we'd send the neck back to the factory and they would do the laser scope, and then the next year's model would be even better, and 6 months later we'd change it a bit more. So the necks got more and more refined, I would say, and with that very complicated compound radius. And the wood got better. We were able to lock down exactly what we wanted with the basswood. We changed the bridge quite a bit, and of course the pickups kept changing, and the controls. But at the heart of it, you know, I told them I want a guitar that can set a standard. I didn't want anything totally weird in it, and I didn't want, you know, Satriani and, you know, in rhinestones across it. And so I said, how would you feel about just two little initials, JS, you know? And so that's how we came up with something as light as possible, because I didn't want to alienate people who liked the guitar but really couldn't take me for more than 5 minutes, you know? So I thought we should allow them to be able to get into it, you know? But of course, you know, it's got the licensed Floyd on there, and it allows me to play music from my entire catalog, which is great. So it's still very expressive as a melody guitar. It still really kicks as a rhythm guitar, but it's got, you know, all the things in the bar here that I can use to do anything that I want. So that's what's great about it. So there you have it.